So I talk about this being the age of miracles, and the first one has come along. The chronic disease epidemic has come to an end. Um, you know, the food pyramid has been flipped upside down, and I don't need to go into the details, but the one that is there now will end the chronic disease epidemic, save millions of lives, save millions more from just decades of suffering from all these various chronic diseases. Arthritis, Alzheimer's, strokes, heart disease. The list is long. And this is an amazing thing. Like it seemed impossible, and many have fought for it for a long time, but it just happened in one day, and now that's happened in America, all of the military, the education, healthcare services and so on will have to fall in line, and the rest of the world will soon fall in line too, because, not falling in line means the economy is on a course for a collapse. It means healthcare services are impossible. And even just in the UK, when we embrace this appropriate, very simple, the top is filled with the right stuff, the middle the right stuff, and the bottom is carbs are there, small portions optional. And the truth that we need to eat actual foods, and ultra processed foods are the number one killer, cause. Simple. That's just that simple, straightforward. We can all embrace it. And then the chronic disease epidemic is over, and it affects healthcare services. The NHS will be saved by this measure. So this is just a miracle. Of course, the work to be done now, of course, is to change things in alignment with this. To undo all the damage and all the things that's been done, and let's proceed with haste. But that is a miracle. And what other miracles are coming down the line? Well, there is the end of mental illness as we know it. I've written extensively about it, and we can just simply refer to it as, from a research technical perspective, it's a untreated, clinically significant distress, or a period of real difficulty and distress in a person's life, and we know how to treat it now with two simple things that are free, and the evidence is there, the research is done, and we just need to say, yeah, let's do it this way. And then untreated human distress just comes to an end. And another miracle that's coming our way is the end of tyranny across the world. I write about that too. Just liberal democracies of anti-tyrannical constitutions are the safest, most prosperous, best civilization to ever exist. Some work to be done, of course, still. A lot of work to be done, but far better than any other form that's out there, which is just tyranny. And I write about that. And also to organizational hygiene. These wonderful things are happening. Among other things, obviously we are going to embrace the completed model of the human species and many other wonderful things that for a long time just seem impossible, and then one day they just happen, and this is great. And one of the driving forces, obviously, is human inspiration and that stuff. But ironically, one of the driving forces is organizational disease, because in a way, it's elegant. In a way, it's there to test everything. Is this attribute of our organization, of our psychology, of our culture, is it weak or is it strong? And it tests everything. And therefore, if we fail that test, obviously terrible things happen. These predators that I talk about in the book, do what they do, and the superclass becomes rancid, and the tyranny state emerges in its many forms, which is the end stage of the disease. But if we rise to the test, if we awaken, if our organizational immune systems are, awaken, and we do what we have an innate and incredible ability to do, to respond to the assaults of organization disease, we become stronger, we become greater. We end tyranny because we embrace anti-tyrannical measures and spread liberal democracy. We understand, awaken to what organizational hygiene is, and wonderful. So it's like, so this is the age of miracles, and I think we are the hero generation, because these things will stand forever. Ending chronic disease and understanding that, ending a new way of understanding mental health and what we used to think of as mental illness, which is just a period of difficulty and distress that can be measured and responded to appropriately. Embracing, understanding, finally, organizational hygiene. which we all think the tenets of are good, but we just don't realize they're essential, and that things do rot and go rancid pretty quickly if they're not applied. And understanding the point in history we are at, the nature of liberal democracies, and what the anti-tyrannical measures that are in their constitutions, what they actually do. They free us from the end stage tyranny of organizational disease, which is the rule of the few over the many for the agenda of the few, which is communism, dictatorships, illiberal democracies, theocracies, and so on. And we free from those. And we know empirically that when we have anti-tyrannical constitutions, when we have these liberal democracies, these beautiful things, there's hugely less poverty. People are much freer, much happier. Life is much more wonderful, much safer. It's just the best civilization to ever exist. But it needs some upgrades, and that is it's only new. It's only been around 200 years, and it has some serious vulnerabilities. Like right now, it is, if we will address those vulnerabilities, but right now, forces are at play that could bring liberal democracies to an end across the world. And this is just a challenge for us to make the appropriate changes. And I list what those are in other videos. There's nothing too surprising in there, really, when you think about it. But I just think it's amazing, this miracle, ending chronic disease, the next miracle, ending mental illness as such, as we understand it, and the science is all done, it's all there. Just like the science for ending chronic disease was all there for decades before it was implemented. And ending tyranny across the world, all the countries embracing the freedom and wonderfulness of liberal democracy. So this is the age of miracles. This is the hero generation. We're going to do things that will last forever. And, awaken, arise, be part of it. And if you want to know more, you can check out some of my books.